Everybody tune in, man. Tune in to the Flip Show. Tune in. You know we gotta show. You already know. All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Flip Show. It's your host with the most, King Troop, host Bird, Benny Bo, the one with the word, the one with the flow. I'm coming at you live at 1:34. And Nore attacked over Andrew Shultz, Drink Champs interview, and faces backlash for platforming him. You see the title, Nore from Drink Champs in trouble after Andrew Schultz says racist comment on their interview. I know it's a little bit more than that because Andrew Schultz in general, a lot of people don't like, bro. So let's check it out.
YouTube, cheers. Get ready. You know what to do, cheers.
Salute to Chick Smooth. Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Oh man, talk about keeping your foot on somebody's neck. The people are not letting Nore slide with this one. Despite what people always say, sometimes, the money does change you. Now, Drink Champs, the platform that was all about giving flowers to legends, more specifically, hip-hop legends. Now, initially when Nore started Drink Champs, he said, listen, this is not for the new school. This is not for the new age rappers. This is not for the TikTok rappers. My podcast, Drink Champs, is strictly about music legends, legends that do not get their voice heard in media. And I'm going to give Nore credit. He stuck to this plan for about 5+ years. I believe the podcast is maybe 6-7 years old. Now, today, Nore announced that comedian Andrew Shultz was going to be on his podcast. And they also dropped this trailer as well.
The one and only Andrew Shultz! You know,
I see how you guys do this. You like manipulate the guests into getting drunk. Like I'm a pussy if I don't drink. So in New York, we had this. Did you have a TV in left rack?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good at peer pressure.
Yes, it's great.
We're fucking good at it.
You stormed the Capitol. We did that shit. We got it.
Well, first of all, if you're offended by a joke, you're allowed to be. That's what I keep telling people. Like I think there's this idea that comedians are out here going, you're not allowed to be offended by the joke. You like however you feel, you feel.
Yo, it's massive. You just hit the #1 show on Netflix, right?
#1 comedy special.
All
right. We can't have success. We can have a show where we sit around, smoke weed, and drink alcohol, make money, feed our families, and then go, but why doesn't everyone understand me? Rewind it. I'm trying to explain to people, they're like, why weren't you watching SNL? And I was like, because it's on Saturday night and I was trying to get some pussy.
Now, this has everybody up in arms because not only is Andrew Schultz not a hip-hop legend, but Andrew Schultz is not in hip-hop in general, or at least a lot of people feel that way. Now, Schultz is on a media run, more specifically, black media platforms to promote his Netflix comedy special. Now, I'm actually fascinated at the choices of platforms he's choosing to go to. So far in black media platforms, Schultz has done The Breakfast Club. Obviously, that was going to happen. Him and Charlamagne have been cool for about 15+ years now. But Schultz also went on Shannon Sharp's platform, Club Shay Shay, which actually pissed a lot of people off. He's also done the Pivot podcast. Him and Ryan Clark got to squash their issues and speak on it, and a bunch of other radio stations as well. But Andrew Schultz coming on Nore's platform has a lot of people angry. The fans got in Nore's comments and started attacking him, saying, wait, so it's part-time about legends and the other part-time just anybody? Somebody else asks, yo, how is Andrew Schultz a hip-hop legend? How is he important to the culture? You sellouts. Bye-bye, Drink Champs. What's he got to do with hip-hop? Fuck with Drink Champs heavy, but won't be watching this particular episode. We need to get parasites like Schultz out of hip-hop, not legitimize him. Remember when Drink Champs was about giving rappers their flowers? Yeah, those were good times. Dame Dash still out there with mad stories to tell. Kanye won't shut up. Ja Rule tight and speaking on it. And you running with this? So you can see a lot of people are angry. They don't believe that Andrew Schultz deserves to be on Drink Champs. Now, if you guys go look at Drink Champs' past interview over maybe the last year, they've started to pivot to also include comedians. They've had TK Kirkland, Mel, a few other comedians, and now Andrew Schultz. Now, I'll be honest here and address the elephant in the room. I think a lot of people are angry mainly because Schultz is white. It's not about him not being in hip-hop or not being a hip-hop legend. It's because
Yeah, but he
Andrew
says
Schultz is not
racial
only
things in
white,
his
but
comedy
some
though
of
as
his
well.
talking
So
points can be deemed as racist. And some of his comments also rub people the wrong way, especially what he said about Kendrick Lamar last summer. Now, personally, I think fans are entitled to feel how they
oh, that's
feel
what it
about it,
was. Yep.
especially because Nore has not come out and told people, hey, we're going to be moving into a whole different direction than what we initially started with. I know we're all about giving flowers to our legends, but we're low key running out of guests. So we want to be more inclusive. That way, we'll always have content and
Yeah, he could have
opportunities
just
for you
said
guys.
that though, and
And
then
this
people
is
wouldn't
also
get
a money
so
play. The agency
hurt
that Andrew
and
Schultz is
upset
signed
over
to,
it.
they've got a lot of connections to a lot of people, brands, and companies that own some of these podcasts. So even if Nori said, yo, you know what? I don't want shows on my platform, the executives and higher ups at Revolt would make sure that shows get on Drink Champs. That's just how some of these things work. I know a lot of you guys are seeing shows pop up at different places, different black platforms. A lot of those platforms are not independently owned, so they can't say no to a show's interview. And I'm sure Nori knew he was going to catch a lot of backlash from this. At some point, if you're going to be moving your content into a different direction, it's probably in your best interest to let your audience know. You guys get in the comments below. How do you guys feel about Andrew shows appearing on Drink Champs platform? Are you guys pissed off? Do you guys think Drink Champs has sold out? And are you guys going to be looking forward to this interview? Post your comments below. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'll see you guys later, man.
I just feel like definitely Nori should have came out and been like, "Hey man, like we taking a different route with Drink Champs now. It's not gonna just be about hip hop legends. We're gonna have comedians on here, other people in media, and then maybe it wouldn't be such a what's it called? It wouldn't be such a uproar, basically." The other thing though is like I said, bro, it's not just the fact that it's not just the fact that um he's not a hip hop legend and he's white. It's the fact that in a lot of his comedy, he's very racist and he has got the term, him being a culture vulture at certain times. So I, well, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know with that one. Um, okay. Where's the next one?
How's up, y'all? It's Papa Wings cracking his D. Boss react to this chick smooth bit. This title: Nori attacked over Andrew Schultz's Drink Champs interview and faces backlash for platforming him. And the thumbnail says, "You sold out. How is he a hip hop legend?" He called Andrew a hip hop legend. He had to have been trolling. Let's get the context. Let's watch.
Oh man, talk about keeping your foot on somebody's neck. The people are not letting Nori slide with this one. Despite what people always say, sometimes, yeah, the money does change. Now, drink.
Kind of want to hear somebody else. Shit, fucking bitch. I kind of want to hear somebody else other than Chig Smooth's content on it. I want to see. What is this? Let's check this out.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video,
My
we're going to
humble
talk about
opinion.
Nori made a announcement that the boy Andrew Schultz is going to be on Drink Champs. Now,
Nori
he's
trying
been
to get
receiving some
that bread.
backlash about
Yeah,
this, of
hella.
course,
I
for
feel it. It's
obvious
just.
reasons. And
Is it
at the
him
end of the
selling
day,
out though? What
they
do
got
you
to
think,
deal with
Shorty?
it,
You
man.
think he's
And
selling
you
out for
cater
doing
to a
that?
specific audience initially, and then you want to change because you think that's where the
Gonna
money
get you
is
more
or whatever,
views
for
and shit
whatever
like that.
reason, then you got to deal with the criticism that comes with that. But we're going to check out this video by Chigs that talks about it a little bit and get some thoughts on it as we go along. So let's get started.
Bro, oh man, talk about keeping your foot on somebody's neck. The people are not letting Nori slide with this one. Despite what people always say, sometimes, yeah, the money does change you. Now, Drink Champs, the platform that was all about giving flowers to legends, more specifically, hip hop legends. Now, initially, when Nore started Drink Champs, he said, listen, this is not for the new school. This is not for the new age rappers. This is not for the TikTok rappers. My podcast, Drink Champs, is strictly about music legends, legends that do not get their voice heard in media. And I'm gonna give Nori credit. He stuck to this plan for about 5+ years. I believe the podcast is maybe 6, 7 years old. Now, today, Nori announced that comedian Andrew Shultz was going to be on his podcast. And they also dropped this trailer as well.
Come on, the one and only Andrew You know,
I see how you guys do this. You like manipulate the guests into getting drunk. Like I'm a pussy if I don't drink. So in New York, we had this. Did you have a TV in left rack?
yeah.
Yeah, we're good at peer pressure.
Yeah, it's great.
We're fucking good at it.
You stormed the Capitol. We did that. We got it.
Well, first of all, is if you're offended by a joke, you're allowed to be. That's what I keep telling people. Like, I think there's this idea that comedians are out here going, "You're not allowed to be offended by the joke. You like, however you feel, you feel."
Yo, it's massive. You just hit the #1 show on Netflix, right?
#1 comedy special.
Right.
We can't.
Yeah, he sold out. He has
For
to
Andrew
do.
Schultz to get the #1 comedy special tells
He has
us a
to
lot
do what's
about the
best
state
for him.
of comedy
Yeah.
at this
True.
moment in time, because this dude ain't funny, man.
You're
Like,
not funny, though.
He makes like some funny comments sometimes here and there, but like a whole comedy show. I remember trying to watch one of his comedy shows a while ago before all this other shit started, and yeah, it just wasn't for me, man. I don't like people whose whole foundation of comedy is based on stereotypes. Like there's
Yeah, that
really
part.
no creativity there. But yeah, just the fact that he has the #1 comedy show just lets us know the state that comedy is in. Like
That part, bro.
man, that's sad, bro.
What happened to all
That's
the real
sad.
Have
comedians?
success. We can have a show where we sit around, smoke weed, and drink alcohol, make money, feed our families, and then go, but why doesn't everyone understand me? Rewind it. I'm trying to explain to people, they're like, why weren't you watching SNL? And I was like, because it's on Saturday night and I was trying to get some pussy.
Now, this has everybody up in arms because not only is Andrew Schultz not a hip hop legend, but Andrew Schultz is not in hip hop in general, or at least a lot of people feel that way. Now, Schultz is on a media run, more specifically, black media platforms to promote his Netflix comedy special. Now, I'm actually fascinated at the choices of platforms he's choosing to go to. So far in black media platforms, Schultz has done The Breakfast Club. Obviously, that was going to happen. Him and Charlamagne have been cool for about 15+ years now. But Schultz also went on Shannon Sharp's platform, Club Shay Shay, which actually pissed a lot of people off. He's also done the Pivot podcast. Him and Ryan Clark got to squash their issues and speak on it, and a bunch of other radio stations as well. But Andrew Schultz coming on Nore's platform has a lot of people angry.
See, and that's the issue right there is when, and this is really strategic on his part to go to these outlets. And look, I can't tell these outlets like, Club Shay Shay and the Pivot and all that. And like you said, of course, Charlamagne's going to have him on the Breakfast Club. But when you have those type of connections, and none of them are really like pushing back on some of the things, right, that a lot of us been already talking about. Now, like Schultz just said, you can be offended, but here's the problem. A lot of the things that people like Schultz say, as far as when they try to make it like a joke, I feel it's like it's their real thoughts.
They're
It's like
real,
when
yeah.
a drunk person say something.
They're real pissed. So when he says certain stereotypical jokes, that's actually how he truly feels. No filter inside, but he just can't speak up and say it. So you're really platforming somebody that made it in comedy off of racist jokes, off of exploiting racism, off of just stereotypical material. And I really don't think that's really anything creative like that, because there's a lot of different comics that don't even cuss or bring stereotypes into their material. So definitely, I feel like it's just not right to really platform him like that. Especially about the little comments that he said with the Kendrick Lamar shit and the black women shit. Like, he's been in the light for saying pretty controversial racial things before. So, yeah.
Something, but then apologize for it when they sober. It's like, no, you really meant that. That's how you really felt or thought.
Yeah,
It
right
just
there.
took
That
for
part
you to
right there.
kind of be inebriated to say it. You know what I'm saying? And so they cloak a lot of their real thoughts and things like that behind a joke. And they can be disrespectful or they can say insensitive things. And I'm not trying to make it to where comedy has to be this real this genre where we should be sensitive to everybody and everything, because it shouldn't be, right? But when your whole shtick is based on stereotypes, I feel like there's just something wrong with that. When he doesn't have any
Any other
creativity
material.
with his jokes, bro. Like there's
Any
nothing
other
creative.
material other than
He just makes
stereotypical
fun.
material, which is like that kind of means you're not very. You don't have that good of a sense of humor. Let's just say that you're not very. You're not that funny. At least you're not uh, funny in the way of. What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? You're not. What's the word? The word would be probably like you're just not very. Mm, I want to say smart, but it's not smart. It's just like you're not very intelligent in comedy like that. You're not very. Damn word, bro. Like you don't have. What's the fucking word, bro? Shit about to piss me off. Like you think. What's the damn word, bro? It's on the tip of my fucking tongue. You're not very innovative in it. You don't really have a good ideal structure to come up with something better than something that's already out there. So you're not really that comedically creative. Let's just say that. I guess if that's even a fucking word, but you're not really creative uh in that bag, in that bunch here, you know? Some people are really good at comedy. Some people are people that just have to kind of milk it off of one thing, which is the stereotypical jokes. Or you see some comedians, they just go with like the wife and husband type of jokes, the like a sitcom type of approach, like that you would see on a sitcom, but they're doing a stand up and they're talking about like, okay, don't you hate it when your wife says this, or don't you hate it when say for instance it's vice versa for the females too, for the women in comedy. Don't you hate it when your husband does this, your man does this, like, but that's their only material, right? So you're not that immediately uh creative. Okay, for sure. You get what I'm saying.
Of people's way of life, of ethnicities and the things that they do, of their idiosyncrasies and things like that. When your whole shit is based on that, I feel like there's just something wrong with that, man. That's just me. Like, be creative. Think outside the box. Come up with some other jokes. Come up with
Yeah,
some
that's what I'm saying.
funny
Think
shit,
outside the
man.
box a
That
little
shit
bit.
ain't
Come
funny.
up
It
with
gets old
something.
after a while. And over and over. That's why I don't see how he's the number one. That's why I'm saying, man, it's like it's a drought when it comes to
Come up with something original, not some played out stuff that we already heard all the other white comics say or all the other race comics say. Like, to be funny and for people to really be invested in somebody that's doing comedy, like a stand-up show or something like that, it has to be something that they could relate to in a way where it's like, okay, well, I haven't heard that before. Like that one really made me laugh because, like, okay, I can relate to it, but I haven't heard nobody ever speak on it like on that way or the way that you word things or whatever it may be. But it's not just using the same material over and over and over again because that just gets really dry. And that's like not to smut Jerry Seinfeld, but he has his own genre of comedy. He's very dry. He doesn't cuss like that. He sticks to the same spiel, the same little material, the script, which that's why a lot of people say he's dry. Like, okay, you could excuse me, you can't compare somebody like mm, a Ron White and mm, yeah, like maybe Ron White, maybe Jeff Foxworthy with with Jerry Seinfeld and Dane Cook. They're all different. It's different, right? So, but it's not different really with Jerry Seinfeld though, because he sticks to the same material. You know where I'm going with it. He's not. There you go. He's not Richard Pryor. He's not Dave Chappelle. He's not Eddie Murphy. He's not uh, Al Mooney. He's not Eddie Griffin. He's not. The names go on, bro. But I'm just. He's not really, and that's the thing is, it was only funny because when Richard Pryor would do the certain stereotypical jokes, or Eddie Murphy would, or fucking Dave Chappelle, who else? Martin. Even Martin did stand up like that. Martin Lawrence, Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, uh, Eddie Griffin, Al Mooney, Faison Love. Like these, they would do certain stereotypical jokes, but it was funny because they really lived that. People could relate to it because they're like, okay, well, you know, it just seemed genuine. With him saying the shit, it just seems like, okay, like what bro said. This is exactly how he actually feels about certain situations and certain people and certain races. But he can't just sit there and say it openly. My bad. There you go. Paul Mooney. I don't know why I said Al Mooney. That's my fault. Paul Mooney. There you go. Um, he can't sit there and be open about that, so he has to stay in his comedy material because that's the only way that he could get it off of his chest. But that's how he actually feels in general, and that's like listening to something that doesn't really sound very genuine. It almost seems hurtful in a way. Not hurtful, but like derogatory. Yep, Faison Love is Faison Love a blood. Yeah, he from Emerald Hills. He from San Diego. Bro's from Uptown. Uptown Emerald Hills, 5-7. What's it called? Roswell and all that over there. The Emerald Hills Bloods. Uh, yeah, the Emerald Hill Blood Gang. But yeah, that's where Faison Love's from. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, Shorty, bro. Like, basically, it just doesn't seem genuine when he said, okay, so even Kevin Hart, bro. Kevin Hart could be making fun of white people, Mexicans, but whatever it is, doing stereotypical shit, but it's funny because you could tell that he still looks at it as a joke. Andrew Schultz looks at it as like, this is actually how he feels. You know what I'm saying? But we go back into it.
Real comedians is a drought, bro.
The fans got in Nore's comments and started attacking him, saying, wait, so it's part-time about legends and the other part-time just anybody? Somebody else asks, yo, how is Andy Schultz a hip-hop legend? How is he important to the culture? You sellouts. Bye-bye, Drink Champs. What's he got to do with hip-hop? Fuck with Drink Champs heavy, but won't be watching this particular episode. We need to get parasites like Schultz out of hip-hop, not legitimize him. Remember when Drink Champs was about giving rappers their flowers? Yeah, those were good times. Dame Dash still out there with mad stories to tell. Kanye won't shut up. Ja Rule tight and speaking on it. and you're running with this? So you can see a lot of people are angry. They don't believe that Andrew Schultz deserves to be on Drink Champs. Now, if you guys go look at Drink Champs' past interview over maybe the last year, they've started to pivot to also include comedians. They've had TK Kirkland, Lunel, a few other comedians, and now Andrew Schultz. Now, I'll be honest here and address the elephant in the room. I think a lot of people are angry mainly because Schultz is white. It's not about him not being in hip hop or not being a hip hop legend. It's
It's
because
not
Andrew
just that
Schultz
he's
is not
white
only
though.
white, but some of his talking points can be deemed as racist.
There you go.
I don't know if I agree that it's because he's white. I don't think that's it. All right, there's two things right here I want to say first. One, as far as them pivoting to comedians, I get that. I feel like the way they started off, eventually the well probably is going to start running dry and topics are going to be hard to come by.
Nah, I mean, I can say for myself, shout out to the Emerald Hills. I mean, I got a couple people from Emerald that are cool. You feel me? That they push their shit the right way, and they're genuine people. But other than that, nah, we do not get along with them. Matter of fact, actually, they post some weird stunt on me. They tried to jump me 8 people deep. And I was supposed to shoot a one-on-one fade with one of the homies from Emerald, and after that, I just really looked at him way more different than I did before. I was already looking at him like they ops, so that's how I was brought up since I was young. But I did meet some genuine people from there. But as far as a whole with Skyline, nah, we do not get along with Emerald Hills.
And honestly, it's funny because people will tell you, "Oh, we want to see this, we want to see that," but when you make those videos, they won't watch it. You know what I mean?
It's true too.
Now, does
Shit.
that mean that you get away from your mission? No, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be hypocritical. As far as them pivoting to comedians, I don't necessarily. I feel like the name Drink Champs itself, aside from maybe its mission statement, is broad enough to be inclusive enough to include that that genre, comedians and things like that.
Yeah, because they do joke on there a
If that's
lot of
what you're gonna
times.
do, that's
So
fine. I don't think it's that Andrew Schultz is white. I think it's just the controversy that surrounds him and the fact that people think about him. A lot of the things that I just spoke about, as far as his brand of comedy, and a lot of people like myself don't consider it comedy, man. So, I mean, some people might.
um, nah, I wouldn't say we beef with all the Bloods in Dago because we really tight with the we tight with Little Africa Power, which is Labs. We tight with the Brims a little bit. Um, Other than that, though, yeah, we don't get along with Lincoln. We don't get along with Emerald. We fuck with 5-0. Fucking face, fucking that. Yeah, we fuck with 5-0. Uh, I mean, other than that, yeah, we fuck with O'Farrell. They Bloods too. O'Farrell Park, Farrell Park Banksters, and that's what the 6-8 is. You feel me? The 6 is the O, the 8 is Skyline. Skyline 1980s gang. So we took the older home, the G homies got together and they decided to make a truce, or not even a truce. They decided to make an alliance and have them as allies back in the 80s, or was it the 90s? I gotta ask the G homie about it. Really, I don't want to speak on no shit that I don't know for sure on the dates, but basically we have one ally, Blood said, which is the O'Farrell Park Bankses. But due to what the little homies are doing these days, that's kind of getting divided as well. So as a whole, nah, we don't really get along with any Bloods really like that, except 5-0, Little Africa, O'Farrell Park, and then like I said, O'Farrell Park is the 6. They rep the 6. You feel me? They're not 60s, but they do rep the 6 though, and we rep the 8. So we put the 6 and the 8 together. 6-8 Mafia is basically like the alliance. You know what I'm saying? But and you see the SF on my hat. That's why I'm wearing the SF Skyline Pharaoh. But Yeah, nah. As far as getting along with any other Bloods in Dago as a whole, nah. Me myself, I'm cool with a lot of people from everywhere. You feel me? But as a whole, for my section, nah, we don't.
Might be saying it because he's white, but I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's just more so like who he is. I think it's more about him as a person and not so much about his skin color. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's that he's white. And I don't have a problem necessarily with Drink Champs doing interviews with comedians either. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want this to be a viable business for the long term, you're probably going to have to like every such a certain amount of time, years or whatever, or when you see the analytics, you might have to switch it up a little bit and see what the people want to see or want to listen to, because the well will run dry. So I don't have a problem per se with that. It's just the person for me, and it has nothing to do with his skin color. I don't care about that either. I think he's just a race grifter. He's a race grifter, man.
That's a
And
good
some of
word.
his comments also rub people the wrong way, especially what he said about Kendrick Lamar last summer. Now, personally, I think fans are entitled to feel how they feel about it, especially because Nore has not come out and told people, hey, we're going to be moving into a whole different direction than what we initially started with. I know we're all about giving flowers to
We
our
got 8 minutes
legends,
left of this
but
video. Let me
we're
on to the next
low-key
video,
running out
y'all.
of guests. So we want to be more inclusive. That way, we'll always have content and interviews.
Seems
for
like you
guys.
know a little
And
bit of
this is
history
also
about
a money
Dago,
thing.
shorty.
The agency that Andrew Schultz is signed to, they've got a lot of connections to a lot of people, brands, and companies.
Okay, when it comes down to the car, the way we push our car is, say, if we all locked up together, say it's a Skyline, a Lincoln, a Bram, a Emerald Hill, we all pushing Dago as as one. So we push the blood car, the Damu car. Damu car fall in line with the Paru car. So yeah, we do push the car as a unit when we're behind bars, but on the outs, nah, not really. Like, well, yeah, not really. Like, we push the car for our section, yeah, you feel me? All like Damu power, but when it comes down to being cool with these people, and like you see how the neighborhoods are in LA, like the 40s and the 60s, they might not really get along like that, but they still push the car behind walls. That's the same shit. Feel me? We on the same tip, but we don't push the car when we on the outs though. That's what's backwards about it. Feel me? Because how you finna be cool with these people behind walls, and then when we outside, we knocking shit down for these to these people now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like, I always never really understood that shit like that. And it took me a long time to really see, like, damn, like certain people I call my ops aren't really that different from me, and shit like that. So definitely when I went down and opened my eyes up more to all that, and that's why I have a lot of different relationships with all sides. Yeah, I do. I made a few trips down to LA in the 90s. Okay. Hell yeah, hell yeah. But yeah. So basically, you're right. We do push our car like that as one when we're behind walls. But if we on the streets, nah. Uh-uh.
That own some of these podcasts. So even if Nori said, yo, you know what? I don't want shows on my platform. The executives and higher ups at Revolt would make sure that shows get on Drink Champs.
Well, see, that's the problem then, right? It's like if you as the individual feel like interviewing this person may go against some moral code or something, and you do it because of this deal that you're in, or because of this contract, or because of money, that's where.
Oh, that's the other thing too. Like, you gotta think about it. Like, is Nori the one who's picking the lineup though, or is it the head up at Revolt that's like, hey, y'all keep having all these hip hop people on here. We need to have some other people in the media because our views are going down, or whatever it may be. Like, oh, the algorithm's not liking it. And Nore might have been one to be like, oh nah, I don't want to have Andrew Schultz on here, but they said, well, it's gonna bring in the numbers or whatever it may be, and so bro just had to follow suit. It could have been that too, because we don't know the actual meeting that anybody had beforehand, and how the lineup came about. So we can't just blame Nore because he still has to follow suit and take orders from all the high ups at Revolt, which is shit really Diddy's people, because that's Puff's whole shit. That's his shit. Feel me? So yeah.
That's where I would have an issue. Okay, so I guess there would be a couple things. One, don't sell out as far as selling your company, because if you do lose that creative control, right? Because if the people who bought you out say, yeah, I don't care how you feel, you're doing a freaking interview, so
that part.
Either do it or find another job.
See, then that's what I'm saying.
That's why you
right
don't
there.
give it up. And then after that, if you do it, I mean, you don't want to got to live with that. But I think the people will sense that, man. People don't like the disingenuous.
There you go, right there, the disingenuousness. Like, if it doesn't feel genuine, I don't think people really are invested in it to the way that it would be if it was genuine. You know what I'm saying? It kind of gives you a sore stomach, not sore stomach, but it kind of gives you like a foul feeling, because it's like, okay, well, this don't seem genuine. This seemed like it was like staged and they had to do this, or they didn't really want to do this, but they did this for this reason, the numbers, whatever it was. You could just tell it wasn't a genuine move. I'm just saying, I don't know if it was a genuine move or not, but I'm just saying, if it is that way, you could tell.
I can't say that right, but y'all know what I mean. They don't like that, man, and you'll start to lose your audience that way too if you do it too much. You'll have some people mad. You do it once or twice. For the most part, a large portion of the audience will probably forgive you, but
okay, so when it comes down to the Chris, but I'm not gonna sit here and speak on keyway business. You feel me? Shout out all my keyways and all that. The way they push their card and they go, they're pretty all is one on the streets and behind walls, except for the coast. And yeah, the coast and the 40s didn't really get along at first, but now really all the keyways kind of push the Crip card out there all the way, like behind walls and outside of walls. So it's kind of similar to that. They get along basically like that. Yeah.
If it starts to go that way, more often than not, then you're going to find yourself losing the audience.
Not for sure.
I think also in large part, this is my theory. The audience that Nore and them cater to initially, which is a black audience, hip hop, so on and so forth. The upper echelon people, they don't want that. They don't feel like that's where the money's at. They don't feel like that's where the long-term sustainability is at. They don't want that audience. They want to change.
Is it substantial to only
and the listener? And so the same
to only feel like you're,
you know what I mean? And so I think in large part too,
targeting only one audience.
Complaints from that portion of the audience, because they're seeking somebody. It's like they want to phase that portion, maybe not all the way out, but they definitely want to phase that portion of the audience out, because they don't think that there's enough growth in that portion of the audience. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure, without a doubt.
That's just how some of these things work. I know a lot of you guys are seeing shows pop up at different places, different black platforms. A lot of those platforms are not independently owned, so they can't say no to a show's interview. And I'm sure Nore knew he was going to catch a lot of backlash from this. At some point,
I'm sure he
if
did.
you're going to be moving your content into a different direction, it's probably in your best interest to let your audience know. You guys get in the comments below. How do you guys feel about Andrew Schultz appearing on Drink Champs platform? Are you guys pissed off? Do you guys think?
I don't think that he necessarily has to let the audience know he's going to be interviewing different.
I mean, you don't have to let
types of people, right?
The audience know, but I would at least like let it be known. Hey, we're kind of moving in a little different direction. because it's just like it's almost disrespectful to your loyal fans that only tune in because of the substantial hip hop legends that he has on that show, that he has come on that show. So I mean, I don't know.
I don't think I agree with that. You ain't got to really do that. Only way you would have to do that is if you're shifting the whole show
Yep.
from what the original premise was. Then maybe you might want to communicate that. Real quick, I'm gonna go over here and check out this one page on X that was talking about this. Crazy. So this page, Kennedy, with all these numbers, says Andrew Schultz hides his microaggression under the disguise of being a comedian. He has a pattern of this indirect racism. He's not
There you
telling
go.
some creative joke. No punchline. He simply says stereotype. In serious combos, he downplays issues. Fuhad and James getting too much heat, and that's the whole point that I was making. I feel like exactly I couldn't have said it no better than that, where it's a pattern of indirect racism or whatever racial stereotypes, and he ain't telling no creative joke. He's not creative with it. There ain't really no just let's make fun of how your culture does this or how black people do that or how Hispanics do it, or whatever it is. But there's a couple short clips on here. I'm gonna play some of them.
There's the NBA and there's the WNBA, my boy.
I mean, shit, WNBA 2024, they're going crazy.
Yeah.
Shouts out Caitlin Clark and shouts out Angel Reese.
I know you had to do that.
And shouts out Kai Siri. You know Kai Siri?
Yeah.
Shout. I have no idea.
But, so let me just ask you, as a black dude, like when you said shouts out Caitlin Clark, was there like a buzzer that went off in your head, like say a black woman real fast, or else people will think they're gonna call me a sellout? Yeah. I like that you kept it real. You can't leave Caitlin Clark. And then you had to say two black girls.
No, I think of Kai Siri, so she's fine.
She's so beautiful.
I saw her in real life.
See, and this is my point. That's not even funny. Like, that's the type of stuff that gets annoying as hell after a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of person you'd be like, yo, bro, just chill out, man. I'm not trying to really hear that shit no more. Like, we would probably get into a fight eventually because he would keep doing that and think he's being funny and think he has the right to keep telling these jokes. And I would just punch him in his mouth. Like, seriously, like, shut up, man. I ain't trying to hear this shit.
Right? I'm not gonna ever make an excuse for
like specifics or anything like that. Obviously, there's just literally no excuse.
Pause.
There is no excuse.
Agree. Pause.
There's no excuse.
There's no fucking excuse. Ow.
And
Can you pause?
Pause.
No excuse for that. I just want to take in the beginning of it. There's no excuse for jokes. There is never an excuse for making jokes.
What can we try?
I'm not going to ever make an excuse for being a comedian. There's never an excuse for making jokes. Yeah. Okay? That is a real statement said by a man.
I mean, it's almost like he's not trying to be held accountable for anything that he says either.
So he's basically saying you don't apologize no matter what you say.
There's never
And
an
again,
excuse.
that's just another reason to say what you want, to say what you feel, to be disrespectful, and to not apologize under the guise of this is comedy. I mean, and look, at the end of the day, honestly, the fans determine the backlash and the level of backlash, right? So, I mean, if people still want to listen to that bullshit, then I guess who am I, right? I'm not going to listen to it, but, but I ain't going to play no more of those clips. Let's look at some of these. So it says, saying India would have been wealthy without colonization is rewriting history.
Yeah, nah, I mean,
commentary aligned.
Okay, the only reason I put that in the title is because that's what I was told from the person that gave me the content, told me to react to it. They said that he made a racist remark, so that's why I put that in the title. But go study Andrew Schultz comedy material. It's all stereotypical stuff. And they just played a clip right here that, he was saying little things, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why I put that in the title. I know that's why you're saying racist with the question mark, like you didn't hear anything racist yet. I understand what you're saying, but he does have certain things in his comedy shows that would be portrayed as racism. But it's not racist because it's a joke, right? And he's just being stereotypical. But if that's all of his material, how can I not call him a borderline racist or undercover racist? Because that's all he focuses on, and that's his only delivery is just stereotypical material. HBO Showtime. It's a documentary on my high school I went to. It's called Boys in Blue. It's a dope documentary. Prince went to the same high school before me. Where could I find that documentary at, bro? I even play it on here. Shit, if I could find it. HBO Showtime. I'd have to find it on Showtime, huh? Shit. That sounds dope, though. I want to check that out.
Lines with the jokes he made. He can clown to his little circus, but instead he's outside reaping the benefits of having access to us because his rhetoric flies under the radar. To the black men denying Andrew Schultz aggressions, he questioned how Migos got on Ellen without any issues from their quote misogynistic gangster song end quote called Bad and Bougie, but not Milo. Y'all not. I don't know how to say that. Alt-right white nationalist. He genuinely compared hate speech with the Migos rap. I mean, and that's enough of that. I ain't going to go through the rest, but you get my point.
Yeah.
And so, look, if you think Andrew Schultz is your brand of comedy, that's fine. Does Nore deserve the level of backlash? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? He's in the public eye.
It is what it is. That's true.
Controversial Andrew Schultz is, especially right now. My thing is, if Nori's doing it because he's being told to do it, that ain't respectable, bro. That ain't respectable at all. Like, you got to stand on something.
But for real though, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I feel. That's what I feel like it was. I feel like it was a play that was told to him by his higher up at Revolt. Like, hey, now we need to have him on here. He's controversial. He'll bring in more numbers, whatever it may be. And Nori might have said, nah, I don't want him on here. We don't know if he said yes, oh, he wants him on there, or who made the lineup. So I don't feel like he should be having all this backlash unless it is what bro just said, that he was told to do it and he didn't stand on business and was like, hey, I don't think that's a good look for Drink Champs just because of how controversial Andrew Schultz is. It doesn't matter if he's going on a press run to the Breakfast Club and Club Shay Shay and the Pivot. We don't want to have him here. You know what I'm saying? If that's what the case was, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
But also at the end of the day, if you give up creative freedom and you sell your company or what you started, your platform, then that's the consequences of it. Also, it's just like you got that moral conflict of like, damn, what if I'm asked or told to do something that I really don't want to do, or have an interview I really don't want to have? Like, man, I mean, that's why you got to build your own shit and keep it your own way. I don't mind having taken a different direction creatively, but don't go against like the principle of why you started something either. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll check you out in the next one.
Shout out to my humble opinion, bro. Bro definitely had a lot of good points on it, on the situation. We're gonna do one more. This is gonna be my good friend Rich Trapper. And he did a video about it. Here we go. After this, we're going to the next video, yo.
For more of the content we got going on here at TNN
Trap News Network.
It's that good news you use. It's that good knowledge you think you ain't finna get nobody's college, though, big dog. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that get subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. You feel me? You feel me? Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that get subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that news you can use. It's that knowledge you ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that get subscribe button, and I need y'all to hit that notification bell. Hit all stay tapped in for the latest and the greatest everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that news and you can use and it's that knowledge you ain't finna get nobody's college, man. If you ain't did so yet, make sure you please slide over to richtraphouse.com, man. Get into the latest and the greatest in the merch shop, the pathetic fat soda sweetie collection, the loose cannon hoodies, in Jesus' name I pray collection. That's all out now. Words are hard, words over whoopies, hats and tees, all that's out now, man. Make sure I get into that. If you ain't got into all of that, please tap in with richtraphouse.com. Get into that, and you can check out some of our latest and our greatest, what we got going on. Join the newsletter, stay updated on what we got going on. Please tap in with that tap in. You feel me? We finna slide over here to Chicks Move. Big shout out to Chicks Move. Nore attacked over Andrew Shultz Drink Champ interview faces black backlash for platforming him. Let's get into it. Let's go. You ain't like, comment, subscribe to Chick Smooth. I need you to hit a like, hit a comment, hit a subscribe to Chick Smooth, man. He give us news with use. He give us knowledge we can't get nobody's college. Big love, big shout out to Chick Smooth. Let's get into it. Let's go.
All the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Oh man, talk about keeping your foot on somebody's neck. The people are not letting Nore slide with this one. Despite what people always say, sometimes, yeah, the money does change you. Now, Drink Champs, the platform that was all about giving flowers to legends, more specifically, hip-hop legends. Now, initially when Nore started Drink Champs, he said, listen, this is not for the new school. This is not for the new age rappers. This is not for the TikTok rappers. My podcast, Drink Champs, is strictly about music legends, legends that do not get their voice heard in media. And I'm going to give Nore credit. He stuck to this plan for about 5+ years. I believe the podcast is maybe 6-7 years old. Now, today, Nore announced that comedian Andrew Shultz was going to be on his podcast. And they also dropped this trailer as well.
Come on, the one and only Andrew
I see how you guys do this. You like manipulate the guests and get drunk. Like I'm a pussy if I don't drink. In New York, we had this. Did you have a TV in left rack?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good up here.
Yes, it's great.
Fucking good at it.
You stormed the Capitol.
We did that shit. We got it. Well, first of all, is if you're offended by a joke, you're allowed to be. That's what I keep telling people. Like, I think there's this idea that comedians are out here going, you're not allowed to be offended by the joke. You like, however you feel, you feel.
It's massive. You just hit the #1 show on Netflix, right?
#1 comedy special. #1
Right.
We can't have success. We can have a show where we sit around, smoke weed, and drink alcohol, make money, feed our families, and then go, but why doesn't everyone understand me? Rewind it. I'm trying to explain to people, they're like, why weren't you watching SNL? And I was like, because it's on Saturday night, and I was trying to get some pussy.
Now, this has everybody up in arms because not only is Andrew
Shultz received a lot of backlash for his animation type tactics and all, you know what I'm saying? Whatever with the Kendrick Lamar, blah, blah, blah. And he's making jokes about black women and Wookie Bamness and all that. So Kendrick Lamar basically told us not to F with Andrew Shultz and, you know, the culture room with Kendrick. And now Nore's kind of going against the culture. Let's see where this goes.
Shultz not a hip-hop legend, but Andrew Shultz is not in hip-hop in general. Or at least a lot of people feel that way. Now, Shultz is on a media run. More specifically, black media platforms to promote his Netflix comedy special. Now, I'm actually fascinated at the choices of platforms he's choosing to go to. So far in black media platforms, Shultz has done The Breakfast Club. Obviously, that was going to happen. Him and Charlamagne has been cool for about 15+ years now. But Shultz also went on Shannon Sharp's platform, Club Shay Shay, which actually pissed a lot of people off. He's also done the Pivot podcast. Him and Ryan Clark got to squash their issues and speak on it, and a bunch of other radio stations as well. But Andrew Shultz coming on Nore's platform.
But yeah, they're gonna feel like Nore is not standing up for black women. He's not standing up for the cause. Andrew Shultz is pretty much blacklisted, kind of by the black community. I'm not gonna say 100%, you know, because people still like him behind closed doors. But it's a lot of people not dealing with Andrew Shultz.
The reason why he chose Andrew Schultz because he knew it would be controversial. Yeah. But I don't think that he intentionally brought him though. I feel like it was the higher up at Revolt that was like, hey, Nore or whoever else is there, like, hey, we should have somebody on here, like somebody that's controversial. And they just said, hey, what about Andrew Schultz? But you could be right.
Schultz
forum has a lot of people angry. The fans got in Nore's comments and started attacking him, saying, wait, so it's part-time about legends and the other part-time just anybody? Somebody else asked, yo, how is Andrew Schultz a hip-hop legend? How is he important to the culture? You sellouts. Bye-bye, Drink Champs. What's he got to...
So it's just everybody. Okay, so everybody comments is just wild as hell. So that's just what y'all do in the comments is be barnacles. Got it.
...to do with hip-hop? Fuck with Drink Champs heavy, but won't be watching this particular episode. We need to get parasites like Schultz out of hip-hop, not legitimize him. Remember when Drink Champs was about giving rappers their flowers? Yeah, those were good times. Dame Dash still out there with mad stories to tell. Kanye won't shut up. Ja Rule tight and speaking on it.
That's real. That's real.
Real shit.
That's real. That's real. That's real. Ja Rule still out there doing whatever. Kanye won't hush up. That's real. It's that's real.
And you're running with this? So you can see a lot of people are angry. They don't believe that Andrew Schultz deserves to be on Drink Champs. Now, if you guys go look at Drink Champs' past interview over maybe the last year, they've started to pivot to also include comedians. They've had TK Kirkland, Lunel, a few other comedians, and now Andrew Schultz. Now, I'll be honest here and address the elephant in the room. I think a lot of people are angry mainly because Schultz is white. It's not about him not being in hip hop.
I don't think it's because Schultz is white. I think it's because the type of white person that he is.
Or not being a hip hop legend. It's because Andrew Schultz is not only white, but some of his talking points can be deemed as racist. And some of his comments also rub people the wrong way, especially what he said about Kendrick Lamar last summer. Now, personally, I think fans are entitled to feel how they feel about it, especially because Nore has not come out and told people, hey, we're going to be moving into a whole different direction than what we initially started with. I know we're all about giving flowers to our legends, but we're low-key running out of guests, so we want to be more inclusive. That way, we'll always have content and interviews for you guys. And this is also a money play. The agency that Andrew Schultz is signed to, they've got a lot of connections to a lot of people, brands, and companies that own some of these podcasts. So even if Nore said, yo, you know what? I don't want Schultz on my platform, the executives and higher ups at Revolt would
They're going to say, you know what? You're going to go ahead and take that anyway.
Yeah, that part.
We got you. Andrew Schultz, Nore, you're going to love it. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead. Take one for the team, big dog. Go ahead and sit down and drink with that champ.
Make sure that Schultz gets on Drink Champs.
Basically,
that's just how some of these things work. I know a lot of you guys are seeing shows pop up at different places, different black platforms. A lot of those platforms are not independently owned, so they can't say no to a show's interview. And I'm sure Nore knew he was going to catch a lot of backlash from this. At some point, if you're going to be moving your content into a different direction, it's probably in your best interest to let your audience know. You guys get in the comments below. How do you guys?
Well, that's an interesting thing, though. Now, I will say this. Let me see. Let's see. Why are black people mad at Andrew Schultz? Why are black people mad at Andrew Schultz, I think. Let's see.
I just want to point out that we have already finished the podcast, and then CJ, the producer, walked back and said, "Oh, there's just a few more questions that we got to say." Okay, so I just want everybody to know. Yeah, it's fine, but I just want to make sure. CJ, you're a great producer. You're a piece of, but you're a great producer. Okay. Yeah. What was the question? Kendrick said something.
Yes. He said we don't let no.
Oh, that's it right there. Never mind.
I just want to point out that we have already finished the podcast, and then CJ, you're a piece of about no black woman. That's law. Yeah. What's my opinion on it?
Yeah.
Oh, have you not heard it?
No, what'd you do?
Oh, I had an opinion on the internet about it. That was pretty.
So you like going back and forth?
So if you want to see what Andrew Schultz's opinion was on Kendrick Lamar, make sure you tap in with Club Shay Shay, get more of that good content. We up out here to the next one. Y'all know the deal. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. Free Avenue Angel till he's free. We got. Y'all shout out to TNN Trap News Network. Keep back the same. Like, click, cracking the same. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of the content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that good news you got going on here at TNN. We finna slide over here to Chicks.
They say sometimes, yeah.
You're a piece of, but you're a great producer. Okay. Yeah. What was the question? Kendrick said something.
Yes. He said we don't let no.
Oh, that's it right there. Never mind.
All right, y'all. You think we did enough on the Andrew Schultz Nore thing, or you think we should do one more video, y'all? Let me know something. If not, we on to the next video. Let me know something in the comments. Let me know something in the comments. The fuck? I didn't put that shit in. What the? I think these are just random searches. I didn't. Next video. All right, we out of here. Everybody, stay with me, man. We on to the next video. We out of here. Peace.